Ever wonder what the real reason is behind your favorite classic stars of the silver and small screens? Real Stars Weekly's got you covered. Lucille Ball, classic funny girl and star of TV's I Love Lucy, was born on August 11, 1911, in Jamestown, New York, to James Durrell Ball, an anaconda specialist, and Jamie Desiree Ball. Jamie, a classic funny girl in her own right, would often spend nights sitting on the fire escape of their tenement building, and do funny voices at the sky. The neighbors would often hear this and think that some funny radio show was playing through an opened apartment window. One such neighbor was Donald Remington Duck, an unfortunately named professional ballroom dancer, who would listen to Jamie's nightly vocal performances through his bathroom window, driving himself mad, running back and forth from the bathroom to the living room, fruitlessly trying to tune into the same performance on his state-of-the-art radio receiver. Mr. Duck was tortured with jealousy, believing the neighbor somehow owned a newer, more advanced radio receiver with better reception and more hilarious programming. For many months, Donald Duck was a man obsessed. He stopped yelling at his children, and rarely even had time anymore to make his wife cry. All he could do after getting home from his shift at the ballroom was lock himself in the bathroom and glue his ear to the porthole window above the toilet, listening joylessly to the hilarious programming that he knew he would never hear on his own, inferior radio. For her part, Jamie, a shy funny girl, assumed her nightly performances on the fire escape were private. For her and Jesus Christ alone. By the 5th month, Donald rarely left the bathroom. His wife and children had long since moved out. His job at the ballroom was given to a younger, sexier boy, named Peter Wolf. Donald Duck had had enough. On the evening of April 1, 1932, Donald lies slack upon the bathroom floor, waiting for the accursed radio program to emanate once again from that hated, porthole window. At 8:05 p.m., right on schedule, the familiar vocal overtures begin, and Donald storms out of his apartment, tumbling upstairs and down, shuffling past every door in the building, his ears scanning for that terrible, hilarious voice. He stops at apartment number 52. Donald knocks on the door with a single, terrifyingly hollow thud. He hears the muffled radio show cease from within. Inside the apartment, Jamie Ball steps out from the fire escape and closes the window, clearing her throat as she crosses the hallway, her daughter Lucille trailing behind her, curious. With a touch of apprehension, Jamie slowly opens the door, and gasps. Donald Remington Duck, her once sexy ballroom dancing neighbor who was on her short list for a possible steamy affair, stands before her, pale, unshaven, shaking with malnutrition and hatred. His eyes ghastly white globes of fury and misery. He threatens her with a knife, and asks about the funny voices, and something about her radio. Jamie, too bashful and humble to take credit for her own hilarious performances, and also a coward, points to her own confused and frightened daughter, explaining that little Lucille Ball would sit on the fire escape and practice funny jokes and routines. Donald stares at Lucille, his eyes and knife flashing in unison. Slowly, a crazed smile forms upon Donald Duck's death mask of a face. The knife clatters to the floor. Donald breaks into joyous, innocent laughter. He picks the 21-year-old Lucille up, and hugs her a little too tightly. Lucy looks to her mother with something between mild concern and absolute panic. This would be Lucille Ball's star-making performance. Donald Duck would go on to be Lucille's agent, manager and sometimes lover for 60 years. Jamie's talents would go undiscovered until long after her miserable, hideous death in 1972, plummeting from the very fire escape where she inadvertently began her daughter's career as a much-loved and celebrated funny girl of the classic TV era. Want to hear more real stories of your favorite classic stars? Subscribe to Real Stars Weekly, and let us know what classic stars you want to hear the real truth about.